Hi guys, how are you? It is 10:30 on a Wednesday and we are down on the mat. And as always, didn't super feel like getting here, but we're here because the muscle that I am working is the muscle that grows every time you do something that you don't necessarily want to do. And I had a very clear realization yesterday. I'm an actor. I'm in the beginning of my journey, and it's taken me a while to get here, to get to the place where I'm doing things that actors do, but I'm here now. It dawned on me yesterday that everything I do that is not reading a play or reading a script or auditioning, practicing my craft, practicing my speech, tuning my instrument, which is, meditation and working out. Anything that I do that isn't that takes away from the thing that I want to do with my life, my purpose. And it was just, I've never thought about it so clearly. Scrolling on Instagram, that's scrolling on Instagram or on these other apps, or not necessarily being lazy. I don't like the word lazy. However, sleeping in or staying up and watching something that isn't necessarily helping my craft, I am choosing that over bettering my craft. I am choosing that over the thing that I say I want to do with my life. And I don't know what your dreams are, but every time you're doing something that is not improving yourself or your craft, you're taking that away from your craft. And then we live in a very odd time where people's Instagram reels, people's lives look fabulous. And I have to ask myself, do I want to be famous or do I want to be an actor? Because do I want to be famous or do I want to be an artist? They're two very different things. And today we want things that tell other people and tell us we're successful and we're doing something right in the terms of a car, clothes, vacations, dining out. Those are aftermaths. Those are products of the things that we do, right? But to some people, those are the end goal, and that's fine. But I'm just welcoming you to take a moment and ask yourself, what do you really want? And then take a look at what you're doing during the day and see, is that bringing me closer to the thing that I want or further from it? The working out right now, yeah, it's like, I could be doing something else, but this is what I need to do to be the best me, right? And that's important. So I'm going to prioritize that. And I know that maybe it's not going to pay off like right in this moment, but the payoff might be in 45 minutes when I'm done with this workout. Or the payoff might be next month. Or the payoff might be in 20 years if I do this every single day. In 20 years or in 40 years, when I'm in my 70s and I'm strong and I'm fit and I can still travel and I can still act and I can I still look and feel fabulous because of what I did today. So I invite you guys to take a look at what you're doing and to choose you choose your dreams, and choose the best version of you. And just reflect if what you're doing right now, what you're doing today, is contributing to that. And with that said, let's get this party started. Get this party started on a Wednesday morning. Another thing as well, I wasn't feeling the best emotionally. You know, I felt lost in life. I was a little bit down, and I was questioning a lot of things about my own existence. Like, I was like, why do some people get up in the morning and they're excited and they're happy and they're energetic and they're doing things? Why don't I feel excited for the day and energetic when I wake up? And I realize now that it was because I wasn't working towards my purpose, what I deemed to be my purpose. Now that I'm on this clear path and I know what I want, yeah, there's still elements of the path where I don't necessarily want to do stuff, but I feel happy, I feel content, and I feel at peace because now I know that what I'm doing, I'm working towards something. Even that momentary lapse of energy where I'm like, ugh, I'm tired, I don't want to go back to class today, or I don't want to do this workout. It's so much easier for me to push myself in that moment because I know so clearly that I'm working towards something. And I think, if you're feeling lost, if you're at a loss for motivation and purpose, really dive into what are your gifts? What is your purpose? What do you love to do? And how can that help others? I think you can take anything that you genuinely love, anything that genuinely brings you joy, and you can practice that and use it to help others and bring value to others. I think that's how we were created to operate, and I think that's how we were created to coexist in harmony with our fellow brothers and sisters. So really start asking those questions, and you'll see how everything you do from there starts to take on this essence of importance and purpose. Yeah, let's do this.
How much do you love yourself? Because if you understand the value of self-love, you'll never be friends with those type of people. Most of the people out here are running around empty. They have no sense of self, no sense of self-love. When I say self-love, it has nothing to do with celebrity, money, materialistic things, and all of the things that your negative mind could probably go to. It has nothing to do with self-love. It has nothing to do with looks, nothing to do with cars and any of the superficial things that one would assume that could make you love yourself even more. It's a matter of knowing your value. It's a matter of you saying, I don't have to be around these people in these type of environments and situations in order for me to finally see the value in myself. I love me independent of you loving me. I believe in me. I know my self-worth. I am here and I have a purpose. There is no value in having wisdom, knowledge, insight, spirituality, love. Every day, I am a work in progress.
A person who can forgive nothing is a person who's totally destroyed psychologically and emotionally. Forgive your parents. Forgive any relationship that you ever had that didn't work out. Forgive everyone else in your life that has ever hurt you in any way. Forgive yourself.
Forgiveness is giving up the hope that the past could be any different. I think for myself, and I know many of you, you think forgiving means accepting what has happened to you. Well, it is accepting that it has happened to you. Not accepting that it was okay for it to happen. It is accepting that it has happened, and now what do I do about it? Forgiving is giving up the hope, not holding on, hoping, wishing that it could have been any other way than it actually was. Giving up the hope that the past could be any different. And when I got that, I think it took me to the next level of being a better person, because I don't hold grudges for anything or any situation, and neither should you. It's letting go so that the past does not hold you prisoner, does not hold you hostage.
See, life is cyclic. You're not, whatever experience you're having right now, it has not come to stay. It has come to pass. Not to stay, just to pass. It's just going through. The biggest challenge is to know what's happening. This is a part of this thing we call life. This too shall pass. And maintaining perspective, putting it in perspective.
You have to be willing to break from the past to have the future you so desperately desire. You have to have the courage to allow yourself to honor the past as it was, to forgive those who need to be forgiven, to forgive yourself, and to acknowledge that everything led you to this point now. Everything.
Let it go and begin to focus on developing myself. And I say to you, you're going to have people to do things to you. Things are going to happen to you. And the most important thing to do is to harness your will and let it go and move so you can grow, so you can get on with your life. It doesn't matter about what happens to you. What matters is, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do now, Les? But if you want to begin to move into your own personal greatness, if you want to begin to really enjoy a happy, successful, healthy life, you've got to be willing to go against the tide. You've got to be willing to harness your will. So as you're in the process of reinventing your life, write a description of the kind of person that you want to be. What are the things that you must overcome? What qualities about your personality you know that you're going to have to change, because those particular characteristics are liabilities to you? What are your assets? What are your strong points? Look at and evaluating yourself to make that determination. Other thing is that in order to get out of a rut, we need some coaching. Find some trusted critics. People that you know care about you and love you. There's some things that keeps us from growing and getting out of ruts. Number one, we identify with feedback. We take it personal when someone wants to give us some feedback on where we are falling short and tell us about our blind spots. We want to have everything being positive about us. We're not perfect. It hurts. I have a friend who's a trusted critic. I don't like him, but I love him. He doesn't tell me the things I want to hear. He tells me what I need to hear so I can grow. It hurts. It hurts when he put me on the hot seat. I can't stand it. But that's the only way that I can grow. And I'm glad that he loves me enough to risk our friendship to tell me what I need to hear, not what I want to hear.
High performers are not dissatisfied strivers. They're not. They're happy. High performers are happier than their peers. We all believe that to get the top, it's going to be lonely at the top, and we all believe you have to grind and kill yourself to get there.
Yeah.
And that's completely wrong, and the data proves that worldwide, which is, I think, just overcoming a lot of people's biases about how we work today, because right now, especially today, like, grind on social media is so popular.
Or hustle.
And by the way, none of the top 15% of high performers worldwide identify with those words. They literally don't. We asked them, we did a whole keyword analysis.
Yeah.
This was actually pretty cool. And high performers explicitly say, these are 3 driving feelings. If we said there was a high performance state, it's driven from these 3 things. Number 1, full engagement.
Yes.
Number 2, joy.
Yes.
And number 3, confidence.
Yes.
That's what they relate with, okay? That's where it's coming from. It's a joyous journey, not a dissatisfied one. And I have this conversation in the book because I kind of maybe frame it this way. Each of these chapters opens with a vignette of somebody I worked with or a situation that I was in that demonstrated high performance. In this particular situation, I'm walking on a stage, thousands of people, after a very famous musician was out there and was telling the audience that person's secret to success, remember, thousands of people,
yes,
their secret to that person, their whole speech, their secret to success was never settle. Never settle. Nothing is enough. Never settle. And never be satisfied. Never be satisfied. Always demand more. And I'm like, oh, my second slide, which was going to be on Jumbotrons in like 80-point text, was strive satisfied. I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to dispel this for all these thousands of people. I was totally freaked out.
Yeah.
But what I had to explain to people was not only the data, but it's this. If you're never satisfied, I mean, is it true that life is precious? If it's true that life is precious, and you could be gone tomorrow, do you really want to think, you know what, I just never felt fulfilled? I never allowed myself to have a moment of credit. I never allowed myself to have a moment of peace. I never allowed myself to look at that and say, good job. That's not the way to live life. I think just at a spiritual level, it's a bad move. And this book doesn't really go into a lot of that. It's more about the science and the heart stuff. But I think it's really important that people realize your job is to strive satisfied. And if you strive satisfied more often, you will be more of a high performer. And if you never give yourself credit, you're always beating up on yourself, you're always thinking that's not perfect enough, then what's going to happen? Dissatisfied people burn out and they quit more often than satisfied strivers. So take joy in the moment, engage with what you're doing, allow credit and satisfaction and joy to come in. You can always be improving.
Of course.
But be improving joyfully.
Yes.
And if you're improving joyfully, then you're learning, you feel curious, you feel engaged, the joy is there, you'll get more confident because you're like, I'm gonna learn through this anyway, this is gonna be great. Because this thing is all over social media right now, like, grind, work, whatever. And I'm like, it's popular, and I see why that happens, and I see why it's catchy. It's just not scientifically valid.
Stop scaring yourself. How often do you terrorize yourself with your own thoughts? You get into absolute terror, and it's only coming from your thoughts. Nobody out there is doing a thing. Sometimes it's an old family pattern, sometimes we get new things. I would like people, when you have time, to make a list of your fears. Make a list of your fears, and then give yourself the opportunity to turn each fear into a positive affirmation. Turn each one into something positive. And remember, always you are in charge. You are always in charge. See, one idle thought doesn't make a whole lot of difference. Thoughts are like drops of water. You drop a drop of water and it doesn't mean much. But if you keep dropping and keep dropping, you get a puddle on the floor, and then you can get a little pond and a lake, and finally you can create an ocean. And with our own thoughts, we can drown in a sea of negativity, or we can float on the ocean of light.